Hi, good morning. Guys, couple of people asked this question. What are the challenges you have faced in your project? So anybody know answer for this question? What are the challenges you have faced in your project? How you are giving answer for this question? If anybody asks this question in the interview, then what is your answer for that? Can anyone explain the answer? Whatever you know, I will tell my answer for this. First, I want to hear from you. If anyone asks this question in the interview, how you are going to answer this question? What are the challenges you have faced in your project? Or what is the complex thing that you have implemented in your project? Come on, guys. Can anyone give the answer for this? Whatever you know.
Sir, I'm telling some word.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm worked on reports module. In that, here sending the mail is complex task in my of my complex task. So I don't have that the task aware that. So I talked to my team lead and I searched it in Google and
no,
so
that we can't say as a complex task because sending the email is very common scenario in the projects.
Okay.
If you say sending email is a complex task, they will not believe that. And they will consider that you are fake experience.
Okay.
Sir, I'm telling.
Yeah. What you are giving the answer for this?
The performance issue, one of the challenges.
Sorry?
Performance issue. I have challenged us.
What issue? I did not get your voice.
Sir, in multi-threading, I'll an instance with the I'm not getting properly, sir.
I am not understanding your answer. Can you come again, sir? What are the challenges you have faced in your project? So this is a very common question when you are attending the interview with the experience. So what is your answer for this question?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, actually, we are using the in the correspondence module. Yeah, initially we are not using the multi-threading process. After
Correct.
that, in that place, sending notices is very slow process. So all the citizens are struggled with that notices. In that case, after that, we are using the multi-threading process and executive framework to resolve that disadvantages.
Yeah, that is perfect answer. Good. Now, guys, observe. We can say that we have implemented CO module to send notices to citizens. We have implemented, assume that we have implemented CO module to send notices to citizens. Our application sending notices to the citizens one by one. CO module sending notices to citizen one by one. So for example, let's take a scenario. One notice is taking 1 second time to process. One notice is taking 1 second time to process. Now, if you go with 1 second of time for one notice, then in 1 minute, how many notices we can process? In 1 minute, we can process only 60 notices. In 1 hour, we can process 60 multiplied by 60. That means we can process 3,600 notices per 1 hour. So this is the calculation. So we have a correspondence module in our project. The correspondence module is responsible to send the notices to the citizens. So CO module sending notices to the citizens one after other, or we can say it is sending the notices to the citizens one by one. Let's take an example. We have so many notices to send on daily basis. Every day people will apply for the plans. Some citizens will be approved for the plans. Some citizens will be denied for the plans. At the end of the day, we need to generate the notice for the citizen and we need to send the notice to the citizen through email. So to send one notice, it is taking 1 second of time. The reason, our application should collect the data from the DB tables. It has to prepare the PDF and it has to send the PDF in the S3 bucket. It has to store the PDF in the S3 bucket and it has to send that PDF in the email. To do that process, it is taking 1 second of time. So one notice is taking 1 second of time to get processed. So if you take 1 minute of time, within 1 minute, we can process 60 notices. Per minute, 60 seconds. So 60 notices we can process for 1 minute. If you go with 1 hour of time, 60 multiplied by 60, 3,600 notices we can send per 1 hour. So in our project, there are so many batches are available to generate the notices. Our CO batch is getting only 1 hour of time. So within 1 hour, we can process only 3,600 notices. For example, day 1, we got 2,000 applications. Day 1, we got 2,000 applications. So here, 2,000 notices sent. Because 1 hour our program is going to run. If our program is executed for 1 hour, it can process 3,600. But in the day 1, we got only 2,000 citizen applications to our application. So 2,000 notices got generated within 1 hour. There is no issue. For example, in the day 2, assume that in the day 2, we are getting 5,000 applications. If we get 5,000 applications in the day 2, how many notices we can process? 2,000 notices sent. But what about the remaining one? So there are the remaining 3,000 notices are pending. 3,600 notices we can send in 1 hour. 3,600 only our batch can send in 1 hour. Then what about remaining 1,400 notices? The remaining 1,400 notices are still in the pending state. Citizen applied for the plan and for them notice is not sent. The reason, our program can send only 3,600 notices per 1 hour. Our batch will execute only 1 hour on daily basis. In that 1 hour, 3,600 notices sent, remaining 1,400 notices are still in the pending. Then next one, day 3. When you go for the day 3, so day 3 we got 10,000 applications. 10,000 citizens applied for the plans. Then what happens? 10,000 notices will be generated. Out of these 10,000, how many we can process? Only 3,600 notices are sent. What about the remaining 5,000? What about the remaining 6,400? 6,400 plus 1,400. Yesterday's notices are pending. Yesterday notices are pending. So if you go for day 4, 20,000 applications we got. Out of 20,000 applications, our batch can process only 6,000 notices, only 3,600 notices. What about the remaining notices? What about the remaining notices? So like this, on daily basis, pending notices are increasing. Customers, citizens are not receiving the notices on time. Then they have given complaint to the government, saying that yesterday I have applied for a plan in the IES application, but I did not get any confirmation from the IES application. From 1 week onwards, if you consider, every day pending notices are getting increased. So our system is not able to send the notices to the citizens on time. So this is one of the biggest challenge I have faced in the correspondence module. So same thing you can explain in the interview. What are the challenges you have faced in your project? I was part of correspondence module in the project. In the correspondence module, we have implemented batches to send the notices to the citizens. Every day, citizens will apply for the plans. For the citizen, plan may be approved or plan may be denied. At the end of the day, on daily basis, we need to generate the notice for the citizen and we need to send the notice to the citizen email ID. So we our batch is going to execute on daily basis at 6 p.m. 1 hour time will be available for the batch execution. As we have implemented notice generation in the sequential manner, for 1 second, one notice will be generated and will be sent to the customer. So as it is executing one by one, for 1 hour, we can process only 3,600 notices. So first day we got 2,000 applications from the citizens. So 2,000 notices we are able to send because our batch capacity is 3,600. Second day, we got 5,000 applications to the IES application. Out of these 5,000 applications, our batch is able to process only 3,600 because that is the capacity. The remaining 1,400 notices are still pending in the database. Our batch is not able to process them because it's 1 hour time got completed for our batch execution. Second day, 1,400 notices are still pending. Third day, 10,000 applications we have received. Out of 10,000 applications, our batch can process only 3,600 applications. So the remaining 6,400 plus yesterday 1,400 notices are still in the pending. On the day 4, we got 20,000 applications. Out of the 20,000 applications, we can process only 3,600. So many notices are pending. So many notices are pending, and citizens started complaining about our application, saying that system is not working as expected. We are not getting any updates about our eligibility. We are not getting any confirmation. We are not getting any acknowledge from the IES application. So this was the biggest challenging thing that we have faced in our project. To resolve this issue, we have implemented multi-threading in the project. So instead of processing the records one by one, we can process multiple records at a time by using multi-threading concept. Are you able to understand how to answer this question? What are the challenges you have faced in your project? So batch performance, notices generation was very slow in our system earlier. That was the one of the biggest challenge that I have faced because I was part of that batch implementation. Earlier, we have implemented our batch generation with one thread. So with one thread, for 1 hour, we are able to process only 3,600, but daily incoming applications got increased in our system. So to improve the performance of the application, to improve the performance of notices generation, we have used multi-threading concept in our application. To improve performance of notice generation, we have used multi-threading. To improve performance of notice generation, we have used multi-threading in our project. Instead of processing one notice for 1 second, we will process 10 notices by using 10 threads. Instead of running our program with a single thread, we have created 10 threads to execute notice processing. Now, earlier for 1 second, only one notice. Now, for 1 second, 10 threads will execute. They are going to process 10 notices. If you go for 1 minute, 60 seconds will be available. 60 into 10. For every second, 10 notices will be processed. So here we can process 600 notices per 1 minute. Okay. Now if you go for 1 hour, 600 into 60. Now we can process around 36,000 notices per 1 hour. So when we go with single thread implementation, for 1 hour we can process only 3,600 notices. In our project, earlier we have processed only 3,600 notices per 1 hour. So at that time, we are getting daily so many applications, and our batch program is not able to process all the notices at a time because we have only 1 hour time to execute that. So that customers are not able to receive the notices, they started giving the complaints on the application. So to improve performance of notice generation, we have used multi-threading in our project. Instead of running our program with a single thread, we have created 10 threads to execute notice processing. So for 1 second, 10 threads will execute. Every thread will process one notice. So earlier, for 1 second, only one notice we are able to process. Now, in 1 second, we are able to process 10 notices. So for 1 second, 10 notices means 1 minute means 600 notices we can generate. In 1 hour, 36,000 notices we can generate. Without multi-threading, for 1 hour, we can process only 3,600 notices. With the multi-threading, we can process such 36,000 notices per 1 hour. So this was the challenge and this is the solution for that. So if you explain this answer, then definitely they will believe that you have implemented multi-threading in your project. You have genuine experience in the project. Anybody gave the answer like this? Guys, did anyone give the answer like this? What are the challenges you have faced in your project? Here, 2 questions you can answer. Where you have implemented multi-threading in the project? For this, you can say this answer. What are the challenges you have faced in your project? For both questions, same answer you can give. What is the challenge you have faced and where you have used multi-threading in the project? Are you guys able to understand? Are you guys able to understand? One answer for
Yes,
2
sir.
questions. One answer for 2 questions. What are the challenges you have faced in your project? They will ask this question. This is very common interview question. Okay. And the second one is question number 2. Where you have used multi-threading in your project. Where you have used multi-threading in your project. And you can say another question also. What is the complex task? What is the complex task you have worked on in your project? For all the 3 questions, you can give the same answer. So if they ask any one question from these 3, the answer will be same. I'm repeating the answer once again. Observe. First one. So if you attend any experienced interview, they are going to ask this question. What are the challenges you have faced in your project? Or they may ask, what is the complex task you have implemented in your project? What is the complex task you have implemented in your project? Or they may ask a question, where you have used multi-threading in your project? Then you need to start giving the answer like this. In our project, there is a module called correspondence module. Correspondence module is responsible to generate notices for the citizens regarding their eligibility status. Citizens will come to DHS, they will apply for the plan. Based on their information, they will get approval or they may get denial for the plan. So like this, so many citizens will come to the DHS office on daily basis to apply for the plans. For all the citizens who applied for the plans, at the end of the day, we have a process to generate the notices. There is a batch program that is responsible to generate the notices on daily basis. For approved citizens, approved notice will be generated and will be sent to the citizen in the email. For denied citizens, denied notice will be generated and will be sent to the citizen in the email. Now, as we have implemented the batch to generate the notices, it will fetch the records from the database table. The based on the notice status is pending. Pending means notice is not generated. It will retrieve all the records which are in the pending and it will start generating the notice. That means creating the PDF with the citizen data, store the PDF in the S3 bucket and send the PDF to the citizen in the email. So in order to do that process, it is taking 1 second time to process one citizen notice. So if it is taking 1 second of time to process one citizen notice per hour, we can process only 3,600 notices. That's okay. Excellent. We have tested. All the notices are generating as expected. But the problem started from the day 2. Day 1, we got only 2,000 applications. 2,000 applications, nothing but 2,000 citizens applied for the plans. For all the 2,000 people, notices sent because we can process 3,600 per hour, but we got only 2,000 applications. 2,000 notices got generated and we send them to the clients. Okay. That first day, we are very happy because our batch is working as expected. Day 2, 5,000 applications we got, but we can generate only 3,600. That is the capacity. What about the 1,500? 1,500 notices are still pending. Then day 3, we got 10,000 applications, but our program can process only 3,600. These notices are still pending. Yesterday 1,400 pending, today 6,400 pending. And the day 4, 20,000 applications we got, but out of these 20,000, only 3,600 notices we sent. Many notices are pending. 16,400 plus 6,400 plus 1,400. Almost 20,000 notices are still pending. Okay, that means 20,000 citizens did not receive the confirmation from the application. So customers will not keep quiet. They started giving the complaints on the application. So then how to resolve this problem? Then we identified that why to generate one notice for 1 second? Why can't we generate multiple notices for 1 second? So that's where we thought of using multi-threading in our project. Earlier, we have not implemented multi-threading in the project. After we identified this issue, then we have done some research and development. We realized that notices are independent. One notice does not have relationship with the other notice because every citizen will have their individual notice, their own notice. So here, instead of executing that notice generation logic with one thread, we have implemented multi-threading in our project by using executor services. By using that executor services, for 1 second, 10 threads are going to run, and for 1 second, 10 notices will be generated. Earlier, for 1 second, only one notice will be generated. Now for 1 second, 10 notices will be generated because 10 threads we are going to execute. So in 1 minute, 600 notices can be sent. In 1 hour, 36,000 notices can be sent. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear with the answer? So this is the perfect answer for all these 3 questions. And this is very practical. So this issue I have faced in the project and we have implemented multi-threading for that. Very good. And the next one. In the interview, they are going to ask one more common question. Guys, we will see practical for this. So I have given theoretical answer for this to give in the interview. We are going to implement this practically. We will see the practical implementation for notice generation with the multi-threading. We will implement the practicals for this. Got my point? Next one. And they are going to ask one interview question. What are the design patterns? What are the design patterns you have used in your project? Did anybody face this question in the interview? Did anybody face this question in the interview? What are the design patterns you have used in this project? Did anybody face this question in the interview?
Yes, sir. I will.
This is also very common interview question that they are going to ask. So you can say that in our project, we have used singleton design pattern. So every spring bean is by default singleton. You no need to mention the bean scope. The default scope of the spring bean is a singleton. Every controller, every repository, every spring bean class is by default considered as a singleton. And the next one, we can say that factory design pattern. IOC container is going to create the beans objects by using factory design pattern. So singleton design pattern, factory design pattern, and we can say builder design pattern. We are creating web client object or REST template object, Swagger bean objects, right? Those are called as builder design patterns. And we can say that we are using microservices design pattern. Microservices is also one design pattern. We are implementing project by using microservices. So we can say that microservices design patterns we are using in our project. And we can say circuit breaker design pattern. Circuit breaker design pattern. So it is used to implement fault tolerant systems in our application. It is used to implement fault tolerance system in our application. Circuit breaker design pattern we are using in our project. And we can say API gateway design pattern. API gateway. When we have multiple backend APIs, so to manage all the backend APIs at one place, we are using API gateway design pattern, right? Singleton, factory, builder, microservices design pattern, circuit breaker design pattern, API gateway design pattern, and we are using MVC design pattern, and we are using cache design pattern. Redis cache we have seen, so which is used to improve the performance of the application. Instead of getting the data from the database every time, we can store the data into the cache, and we can take the cache data to use in our application. We can say cache design pattern we have used in our application by using Redis cache. MVC design pattern, controller, service, repositories or DAOs we are using. So to develop our application with loosely coupling, we are using layered architecture. Layered architecture is called as MVC design pattern. API gateway design pattern we are using to manage all the backend APIs at one place by using routing and filtering, right? Circuit breaker design pattern, when some failure occurs in our microservice, instead of giving the error, we can execute the fallback logic by using this circuit breaker. Microservices design pattern, instead of developing all the functionalities in the single application, we are dividing our functionalities into multiple services by using microservices design pattern. Builder design pattern, whenever the object is required for web client or REST template, we are going to create them. We are going to build those objects to use in our project. Factory design pattern, IOC container will use this factory design pattern to create the objects based on the requirement. Singleton design pattern, by default, every class is a singleton in the Spring to perform the operations on the objects. To perform the dependency injection, IOC container will create the object. IOC container will create the object. And we are going to follow strategy design pattern. And we are going to follow strategy design pattern. Strategy design pattern, nothing but we are following the rules to develop our applications with interfaces. We are not using inheritance to reuse the functionality of one class in the another class. We are using interfaces to create. We are using interfaces to communicate from one class to another class. That comes under strategy design pattern. So like this, we can say that these are several design patterns which we are using in our project. Got it. So yesterday people messaged me in the group, sir, what are the design patterns you have used in the project? How to answer this question? You can explain all these design patterns. What are the challenges you have faced in the project? Where you have used multi-threading in the project? You can explain. And another question that they are going to ask, how you handle exceptions in your application? How you have handled, how you implemented exception handling in your project. Right. You can say that we have implemented global exception handling concept by using controller advice and exception handler. We have implemented global exception handling concept using controller advice. Using controller advice and exception handler. Exception handler annotations. So there are two ways to handle the exceptions. One is local exception handling and another one is global exception handling. Local exception handling, nothing but it is specific to particular controller. So if you handle the exception for that class, whenever exception occur in that controller, then only that handler is going to execute. If you want to handle the exceptions anywhere in your application, then you need to go for global exception handling concept. To implement global exception handling concept, we are using one annotation called @controller advice and @exception handler annotations. By using this, we can handle exceptions that are occurring in our application. Got it? How you handle security of your application? How you implemented security in your project? By using Spring Security, user details service concept. By using Spring Security, user details service concept, we are going to implement Spring JDBC authentication. So we have used Spring Security concept in our project. So you no need to write a separate logic for securing your application. So we are using Spring Security concept in our project using JDBC authentication with the help of user details service. The credentials will be available in the database. By using user details service, we are going to load the user credentials and we will authenticate them by using authentication manager. And by using this JDBC authentication concept, we can secure our application by using Spring Security. We are accessing few third-party APIs in our project, and those are secured by using JWT tokens. By using JWT tokens, we will make a request for token with authentication credentials. Then we will make actual request with JWT to get the response. We have used Spring Security concept in our project using JDBC authentication with the help of user details service. User details service is a predefined component in the Spring Security, which is used to load the user record based on the username. Then by using that, we can authenticate the user. Then we will decide whether that user can access our application or not. And we are going to access third-party APIs. Can you guys tell me where we are accessing third-party API in our project? Guys, can you tell me where we are accessing third-party API in our project?
SSL check.
We are using third-party API. We are using third-party API, that is SSA Web. Which module is going to use that SSA Web API in our project? AR module is available in our project. AR module is available in our project, right? AR module is responsible to communicate with the SSA Web API. SSA Web API is a third-party API. You can say that SSA Web API is secured by using JWT. We got the authentication credentials from the SSA team. Those credentials we are going to send in the request header. Based on that, they will generate a token and they will send the token for us. Using the token, we are making the request to get the user details based on the SSN number. So this one you can explain. So in the load user details service, you can implement either the Spring JDBC authentication or by using data JPA also you can load the record. So the logic inside the load user by username method, you can implement by using JDBC or you can implement by using Spring Data JPA also. Anything is fine. So the logic you can write according to your requirement. But the method that we are going to write, that method should return user record, load user by username. So here you are going to get the username. Inside this method, to load the user record logic, you can implement that logic by using JDBC or by using Spring JDBC or by using Spring Data JPA. Anything is fine. Normal JDBC is also sufficient. Good. So these are very common interview questions, especially for the experienced people. For the freshers, they will not ask these questions. So that is the reason, guys, I told you, I think 1 week before, to upload your resume to attend the interviews, because there is no end for the course. The ultimate goal is we need to get the job. There is no end for the Java. So n number of scenarios, n number of requirements, n number of concepts will be there. So when you attend the interview, are you in the position to answer the questions that they are asking? Nobody knows everything. If they ask a question which you don't know, you can simply tell them that I did not get the chance to work with this concept. So I'm sorry, I have no idea. So if suppose if they ask any question which you don't know, then you no need to feel bad about that. You can say that I did not get the chance to work with that concept. Then they will go for the next question. So if you don't know answer for some questions, you can say that I did not get the chance to work with that. I'm sorry, I have no idea on that concept because in my project, I did not get the chance to work with that. So simply you can give that answer so that they will go for the next question. Clear? Yeah. Any other questions that you guys faced which you are not able to answer? Guys, and I want to know how many calls you are getting per day for 3 years experienced people. For 3 years experienced people, how many calls you are getting per day? 3 to 4 calls for a HYD location. Okay, good. Remaining guys, anyone getting calls for Java 3+ years experience? Suresh, you are getting 2 to 3 calls. RK, you are getting 3 to 4 calls per day. What about the remaining people? So if anybody is not uploaded your resume, you are wasting your time, guys. If you still did not upload your resume in the Naukri, that means you are wasting your time. For 2 years, no calls. Yeah, then keep 3 years. Minimum 3 years they are expecting. Minimum 3 years experience they are expecting. 2 to 3 calls in Delhi. Most of the calls come from Chennai location. Okay, very good. So you can keep across India, guys. When you are trying for the job, so you can select Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi. But Mumbai, Delhi, the less number of calls will be there. Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, these 4 locations calls will be more when compared with the Delhi and Mumbai. All right.
Hello, sir.
And what topic is going on in the Angular, guys? Is Angular completed? Currently, which topic is going on in the Angular?
Yesterday, form validation has been done.
Form validation is completed. Routing?
Not started yet.
Okay, cool. So fine. Guys, please upload your resume and update that resume on daily basis to get the interview calls. Attending the interview is most important to get the job. If you don't attend the interview, then you will not understand what you are learning and what they are asking. So attending the interview is the best part to get the job. Yes, sir, tell me.
Sir, actually, one of the interviewer asked me question related profiling. So how will you profile environment like dev environment, prod environment, test environment?
Profiles, Spring Boot profiles you are talking about?
Yes, sir.
In the project, multiple profiles will be created. Application dev.properties, sit.properties, like that.
Yeah. So
whenever we are deploying the application to particular environment, that particular profile we are going to activate so that application will load the properties from that particular profile.
okay.
So for every, as we discussed in the projects, right, environment specific properties will be available. Kafka properties, Redis properties, SMTP properties, database properties, cache properties will be available. These properties will be different for every environment. Dev, SIT, UAT, pilot, prod. So in the project, we will create all these profiles in the config server. Right? Whenever we are deploying our application to the dev environment, then we will activate the dev profile so that it will load the properties from the dev properties file. When we are deploying the project to the UAT environment, we will activate the UAT profile so that it will load the properties from the UAT properties file. That is how we will manage the properties in the project.
Okay.
And also very common question in the interview, how do you manage how you guys are managing, how to manage application properties. So how to manage application properties, guys? How to manage application properties? What is the answer for this question?
Using config server, we can manage my application properties so that my application cannot be dependent on every time if I run my application, it won't be executed every time.
We are using config server to externalize application properties from source code. Our application source code and application properties should not be in the same folder. The reason, whenever we change the application properties, we no need to recompile, repackage, redeploy our application. So that's why we are using config server to externalize application properties from the source code. How to manage application properties? Where do you store application properties? Where do you store your application properties? So to store our application properties, we are using config server concept. What is the purpose of that config server? Config server is used to externalize application properties from the source. Config server is used to externalize application properties from source code. Good. And next one, they may ask a question, how do you deploy your application? How to deploy application? So what is the answer for this question? How to deploy the application? How to deploy the application?
We have created the application image using Docker. We have deployed the Docker image in Kubernetes container pods and maintained the pipeline using Jenkins.
Correct. We are using Jenkins CI/CD pipeline to deploy Docker image into Kubernetes EKS cluster. How to deploy application? So you can say that we are using Jenkins CI/CD pipeline to deploy Docker image into Kubernetes EKS cluster. We are packaging our application as a Docker image. That a Docker image will be stored in the Docker Hub, and we will pull the Docker image from the Docker Hub and we will deploy that into EKS cluster. So this process we have automated by using Jenkins CI/CD pipeline. We are using multi-stage pipeline in the Jenkins. We have created Jenkins CI/CD pipeline to deploy Docker image into Kubernetes EKS cluster. You can say that EKS cluster, AWS EKS cluster. How to deploy your application? That is also very common question. Guys, did anybody face this question in the interview? How to deploy the application?
Yes, sir.
Did anybody face this question? Yes, so many people got this question as well. Perfect. Anything else, guys? Any other extra non-technical questions that they're asking?
Hello, sir.
Huh.
Sir, what is the difference between AOP and config server, sir?
Sir, AOP is completely different, sir. Aspect-oriented program. If you want to implement logging in your project, if you want to implement some security in your project, so you can say that we have implemented a global exception handling, right? Global exception handling concept comes under AOP only. That means we are going to separate our primary logic and secondary logics in the project. Our code will be available in one class. Exception handling logic will be available in another class. That is called primary logic and secondary logic. That is we are implementing by using AOP. Config server is used to maintain the configuration files of the application. Those are completely two different topics. We can't compare them.
Okay, sir. And also, what is the difference between runners and Redis cache, sir?
Runners will execute only one time when the boot application started. Redis cache is a data store which will maintain the data in the form of key and value. Runner is a program which will run when the boot application started only one time. Redis cache is a data store to store the data in the form of key and value. Instead of getting the data from the database every time, we can get it from the Redis cache to improve the performance of the application.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir. It is a good idea to logging the through API. Through AOP.
Logging we can implement through AOP also. Yes, we can do that.
Okay, sir. It is good or bad?
Good, sir. You can do it, sir. It's recommended.
Okay. Sir.
It's
Hello.
recommended. Yeah, hi, sir.
Sir, how one microservices communicate with the other microservices? That would.
There are multiple ways for that, sir. There are multiple ways for that. By using REST template, by using web client, by using FIAN client, we can communicate. Right?
If
In
they
the
ask
microservices
which one you have
concept,
implemented?
you can say that web client we have implemented. So this question, how one microservice can communicate with another microservice? How one microservice will communicate with another microservice? So there are multiple ways to do that. If you are talking about third-party APIs, then you can go with REST template or web client. If you are talking about inter-service communication, then you can go for FIAN client. For inter-service communication, through service discovery, through service registry. If you are having service registry, if both microservices are registered in the service registry, then you can go for FIAN client. For third-party APIs, that means it is developed by another company. For third-party APIs, then you can go for REST template or you can go for web client. When you compare REST template and web client is recommended approach because web client supports for both synchronous communication as well as asynchronous communication. REST template will support only for the synchronous communication.
Yes, sir. Next question, sir. Synchronous communication and asynchronous communication, difference between these two.
Synchronous communication means the thread will be blocked. Until you get the response from the REST API, you have to wait for that. Whereas when you go for asynchronous, without waiting for the response, you can proceed your execution.
And where you have implemented in your project means what we can answer.
Sorry?
If they said when you have implemented this concept in your project, so where, what we can
In
answer?
the AR module, we are communicating with the SSA web API. SSA web API is a third-party application. So to communicate with the SSA web API, we have used web client in our project. You can say that. AR API is available. So that AR API requires user information from the SSA web API to identify citizen belongs to which state. So that AR API will communicate with the SSA web API by using web client interface. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Yes, yes.
What is a method infection, sir?
What is?
What is method infection means? Method infection.
Infection.
Yes, sir.
No, sir, I am not aware of that. Method infection. First time I am listening to this terminology.
Yes, sir. They asked the last interview. Sir.
Method injection or method infection?
Yes, sir. Yes. Method infection, sir.
Method injection is there, but method infection I don't know. It is not there in Google also.
So they ask last interview, sir. Yeah, a lot of search, but not got the answer.
Yeah, even I don't know that method infection.
Oh, okay, sir.
When you got such kind of doubt, you can ask them to explain the question again.
Yes, sir. They, I think this question from JFrog
I don't know, sir. I don't know that method infection.
Okay. Okay.
Method injection that we know that, but method infection.
I think it's a JFrog artifact.
Even in the JFrog also, infection concept is not there, sir.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you.
What is the future object, sir?
Sir, future object, whenever you go for callable interface, right? It is going to, so generally, when we are implementing multi-threading, there are multiple ways to do that. Thread class, runnable, and callable. Whenever you implement a callable, call method you need to override. Call method will return object as a return type. That means the value that you are getting from your thread after execution is called as a future object.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, guys? Anyone faced in the interview? Any other questions? Anyone faced in the interview which you are not able to answer?
Hi, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, can we create custom validation annotation?
Yes, sir. Custom annotations we can create. Yes.
Sir, how did you create?
So there is a keyword called @interface is available. It's a long process. So by using @interface keyword, we can create annotations in the Java. Java provided so many predefined annotations. If you want, you can create your own annotations also. For that, we are going to use a keyword like this, @interface. How we are using class keyword to create the class, interface keyword to create the interface. Similarly, @interface keyword will be used to create annotations in the Java.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, next question is in your project where you have used @qualifier annotation and why?
@qualifier annotation generally we will use so to overcome the ambiguity problem in the auto wiring concept. You can say that I did not use that in my project because when one interface is having multiple implementations, then we are going to get the ambiguity. In our project, we don't have two implementations for the single interface. So I did not use that, but I know what is the purpose of that. You can answer like that. Because
Okay.
every feature that is there in the Spring, we are not going to use in our project. You got my point?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir.
Sir, what is the working of JWT?
JWT token.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We
Yeah, I
explained
asked
that
you
in the
a
class, no?
question. Yeah, yes, sir.
So,
All right.
what is the difference between iterator and stream?
Iterator and stream. Iterator is just will give you the elements from the collection one by one, whereas stream is going to process the data. You can do some operations on the stream of data, whereas iterator will just give you the elements one by one from the collection object. Okay. By using stream, you can apply filters, you can apply map concept, you can sort the objects, you can skip some objects, you can collect them, you can group them, you can perform several operations with the ready-made methods available in the iterator. In the stream API. Whereas iterator is just a cursor which will navigate you through the collection object one by one. That's it. Yeah, fine. Good. So please.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
apart from this, I have another question. Sir,
Yeah.
when you developed IE's application from your end, sir?
Yeah, that is what, sir. I want to develop that application. So mostly we'll try to do that from tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We'll start that.
Okay, so sir, all the APIs you developed?
Not all the APIs, sir. Few APIs I'm going to develop because in the admin API, I no need to develop that again. It is just a CRUD operations, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so some APIs I'm going to develop, not all.
Last time, sir, I asked the question. I implemented JDBC BC authentication and JP authentication, right? when we put the role on a JP authentication, it is not looking. It means web configure adapter class is deprecated, right?
Correct. Web security configure adapter.
Right. Because of that, we cannot work with the roles. If I worked with that means a deprecated class, it will be work.
Deprecated class means it will work in the current version. It will work. Deprecated means it is not recommended to use, but it will work as expected.
Means my question is that when I worked with a deprecated class, right, the role is working, right? And when I means clear that a deprecated class, I not used the deprecated class, the role based authentication is not working, sir.
Sir, when you deprecate that extension from that class, right, you need to write your own authentication mechanism for that.
Sir, means it's lots of code I need to implement.
We need to implement lot of code for that. Yes.
Okay, that's it.
In the previous versions, that class was there, but in the recent version, they have deprecated, means they have given the alternate solution for that.
Okay, sir. I do that thing, but after I remove the deprecated class, it is not working. So I just ask you.
So if you remove the deprecated class, you need to write your own logic for that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Hi.
Sir, what is prototype design pattern?
Prototype design pattern. Sir, here when you are going to create the objects on your own, right? So what for which class the object should be created, that we are going to decide by using that.
Into asking example, real-time example.
Real-time example, even I did not implement that, sir. That comes under a creational design pattern. So when we are going to create the objects for our class, then we are going to use it. I have not implemented. So let me find a scenario for that. So where we use that in our project.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, can you develop all the APIs, because we can see what approach you are going to follow, like.
Sir, all the APIs means reports API already we have developed. That is our mini project, right? In the admin API.
Here in REST API, while developing REST API, so
we will do that.
what
We'll
response and what?
Right, sir. We will change that project to the REST API.
And sir, login model also.
Yes, we will implement that.
So project codes you are going to take in offline now?
Yes, sir. Actually, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I am coming to Hyderabad. Then I will come to offline. Once I come to the offline, then I will start the project implementation.
Okay, sir.
Fine, guys. Good. So with this, I'm stopping for today. So please go through all these questions. And if you attend interview, any questions that they're asking, so please share those questions in the group so that people will go through them. And I will also explain answers for those questions. Okay. So and please practice Angular classes. So our major project implementation will start in this week only. We'll start the implementation of our major project. So that means I'm going to implement APIs of our major project. Thank you, guys.